Good morning, Charlie.
Good morning, Vijay.
I'm
Episode number 5 of Beyond the Net.
That is.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. From a little. Hey, Charlie, why don't we do a podcast to
Right.
episode 5?
No, it's
Welcome back. I know you were
Yeah.
away.
good to be
And
back.
We did episode 4 in New
Remote-
Jersey
remotely.
and Wixom.
Yeah, and Stephen here at thankfully is downloading that episode now from my team's app, if you will, and he'll have that done. So we'll be actually posting 2 episodes, and that'll add to, as Stephen just told us, for the first 3, we're over 600 views already. So from a little spark of an idea that you had to do this to where it is now, I would say we're making good progress.
Yeah, this is fun.
And the moms,
Tamara
and
Jennifer.
Jen, they were
the rock
they
stars.
lit it up like
Yeah.
it was off with a bullet as soon as we aired that one, right? So keep talking to your friends, everybody out there in CC land. It's a really very positive thing, and we look forward to it. And I loved it, like you said, we did it remote, so nothing is going to stop us from
Yeah, now we can do
doing
it from
it
anywhere.
weekly. Yeah, we'll just do it from anywhere.
I'll do it from North Carolina.
Yeah. When you're away, we'll
Yeah.
do it from North Carolina. That would be great.
So while you were away,
Yeah,
having, visiting your daughter,
yeah.
our tournament continued.
Yeah.
Our tournament continued, and we're
How are we doing there?
We're doubles and singles. So doubles we're into a semi, and then singles we have a final. It's Brody versus Max.
Nice.
And I think we did a good job seeding because they're seeds 1 and 2.
That's perfect.
You know.
And I think we did a good job seating ourselves. Because we were out pretty quickly. Well, I was anyway. You had an extended stay.
Oh, I had a great match against Jack.
Yeah.
I had a great match against Brody too.
Yeah.
And both those matches, the window was cracked open.
Yeah.
But I couldn't shut the door. I could not shut the door.
It's okay.
And so Jack, we went. He won 7-6, 7-6. And,
Amazing.
I cannot shut the door during the tie break.
But it's so interesting with each match that we played in on with the students. It became.
This is our 3rd year doing this. I wish we would have played in from the first year.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
They appreciate it, and I know we talked about it on episode.
I don't know about they appreciate it. I love it.
Oh, me too, and I think they do too. They get this, and I know we said this on episode 4, which you'll hear this week as well, but they get to see us in a different light. You know, we're
competitors. Right?
Yeah, we're their competitors now. We're their rivals on the other side of the net. So
It's fun.
it's very, very positive. Very positive.
So let's.
So
I want to mention the banquet. We have our
Okay.
tennis banquet coming up on the 21st of November. But before then, you are going to do
Yeah.
a worldwide speech.
Yeah, well, it's one of our students, Will Shaka's dad, Randy Shaka, is the president of 2 Men and a Truck, and he was kind enough after my initial talk in August, see if I would come and talk to his team out in Lansing. So we originally scheduled for the 20th, but I had to move it to the 19th for some appointments that I had.
So he asked you to talk, but why? I mean,
Yeah, so he is the, like I said, he's the president of 2 Men and a Truck, and it's a global organization with franchisees, and his headquarters in Lansing, I believe, are the support group for all of the franchisees around the world. So he liked the thoughts about focus, patience, and discipline, which is kind of the mantra that I've used all my career, and I apply it to tennis and life and business. And he thought that would be a great jumping off point to talk to his team about how it affected my career in business and also how it relates to my thoughts in tennis and everything that I apply it to. So I think he and I are going to speak a little bit because I want to know what currently their biggest challenges are, because I want to weave into what the challenges are, whether it's communication, whether it's driving revenue, whether it's new ideas coming to the marketplace, whether it's the cost of fuel for the trucks. I don't know what their biggest challenges are, so Randy and I are going to get together, and I'm honored to do that. And if you could be there with me, my brother, that would be even more of an honor for me.
Yeah,
to do that.
I plan on being there.
So it's going to be noon on the 19th.
Okay.
And I'll put together some additional thoughts from all of the things that I've done throughout my career, and try to incorporate that into a real comprehensive, repeatable PowerPoint for Randy to use even when I'm not there. And then I'll open it up for a Q&A.
Okay. Yeah, I plan on attending. I think we can take points from that for our coaching too.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Yes, I'm honored to do that, and Randy for reaching out, and yeah, I look forward to it very much.
So back to our banquet. So we're going to be JV's going to be awarding some trophies. So we're going to be giving out trophies for
First place.
and finalists for both our doubles and singles tournament, and then most improved player.
Okay, MIP, good.
Anyway, we need to talk about that.
Yeah,
And then
I have some thoughts.
then we're having a most valuable player, and we're having the every person. We're trying to get a vote from every player,
Yeah,
and we'll award that too.
and how are those votes? How is those? Without giving it away, is it in this upcoming week of election? how are the polls right now? Is it neck and neck, or is it a clear winner?
There seems to be a clear winner.
Okay,
Yeah, there seems to be a clear winner.
I can take a guess at who that might be, and might even be the same. Yeah, maybe that person may be on a couple of the plaques for the trophies, huh?
Oh, Charlie, let's not give it away.
I know, I'm going to try not
Yeah,
to.
let's not give it away.
I'm bad with surprises, keeping secrets. I'm not good with that, but that's great. So that's upcoming. That's a big deal.
Yeah. So I'm still getting votes in. I think I've got about half the votes in from all the players.
Good.
But I want to get the other half. So we wanted to talk about so the season's dwindling down. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got one semi and two finals to go. After that, it's the off season.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it's off season for most of the players who have already been eliminated from the tournaments.
Right.
But we wanted to talk about how our expectations for the off season, and what the players' goals are. If your goal is to make varsity, you can't just do nothing in the off season.
It's so
You can't,
important.
I'll hit it once a month, right?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No.
The serious guys who want to get over there are taking lessons 2 or 3 times a week,
Mhm.
right? Because the shelf life on tennis skills, or tennis, what you learn, is very short. You have to reinforce,
Agree.
right?
Totally agree.
So,
Yeah, and I think one of the things, just going back to business for a minute, there are these terms where brands play either they play the finite game of business, or they play the infinite game. The finite game says it's January, we're going to go right to December, we're going to hit our target, and we're good. Well, that's so linear, and the same thing applies to tennis. If you think, well, I'm going to come in August, I'm going to play till October, then I'm not going to do anything again until next August, that's kind of a finite approach to a game that you have to constantly be improving in. From a brand building perspective, you constantly have to be tinkering and improving the way your brand is being perceived and the storytelling that you do. That's why the infinite game of business is the one that will always be continuing.
well, Charlie, I mean,
So important.
so that's so applicable, because if you're standing still, other people aren't,
That's right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be, well, how did Joe Schmo pass me, onto a higher court, right?
That's right.
If you're not improving, if you're not working on it.
That's right. If you are not, and again, I don't want to probably use this word too much, but you really have to be seriously committed to want to improve, because it's not going to happen on its own. And it doesn't mean that you have to take these big leaps of improvement. It's a steady beat of the drum, right?
Oh, what do you
It's
say?
these-
Every day, 1%.
1% better every day. That's all it is. And you'd be surprised, you'd really be surprised that when consistency of effort takes over, then the results start to build upon themselves and improvement becomes the byproduct. And that's what we have to continue to get across to our students, and with the great level of communication that you've started with Tamara and Jen, with these great elaborate text messages of information that sometimes happen at 12:01 a.m. and then there's a 12:03
I should
a.m.
be
response. It's awesome, and I think we can use that type of communication to get things out to the team about some of the things we expect after the banquet is over. And that's really taking care of yourself, agnostic of tennis, but with tennis as the end result. It's your fitness in the off season. Are you going to do any weight training? Are you going to do some stationary cycling? Are you going to do some long, slow running? Are you going to do the HIIT workouts that we talked about? We have all of that in our bucket that we want to share with the students, but also want to share with the parents, that they have the ability to be the drivers of their student athletes in the off season, even if they are playing other sports, because fitness is agnostic, right?
It's across the board.
It's across the board. It doesn't matter. But if you can keep building on that, all of those skills that you'll need for tennis will break down a lot less if you're fit. I mean, you and I see that together because
Well, we saw that at a couple of our tournaments where you had to play 3 matches on a hot day,
yeah,
and by the 3rd match, some of us were gassed.
yep, for sure.
Right. So when you talked about HIIT, I think what you're talking about is what we talked about. We're going to next season. We're
Sure.
going out to the track.
Yep,
Right. We're going to do sprints
sprints,
and
stop and goes.
that's what tennis is, right? Stop and go, stop and go.
And it's we will start really easily with 40-yard a 40-yard sprint, a 40-yard rest, a 40-yard sprint, a 40-yard rest, a 40-yard sprint, 40-yard rest. We'll continue to do that, and then we'll work up with the span of, because what I'd like to do is go from 40 to 50. Just make sure, and maybe we'll just start at 50. We'll start at 50, and then we'll progress the following week to 100, and we'll do stride outs on the football field on the minute, right? And I'm addicted to that, to be able to do 15 stride outs on the football field on the minute. So whether it takes me 19 seconds, 22 seconds, whatever it is, when that minute comes up, you're going, and that has been. Has served me. I don't want to say it so servantly, but it served me well, because that really gets you going. Do 15 of those, and you are feeling it pretty good. And then we're gonna have some fun. We'll do
When I was in high school, running track, we used to do straightaways, sprint,
Yeah,
rest on the curve.
yeah, sprint and jog.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then what I wanted to do, and I thought about it when I was in New Jersey, because when I was able to find a pro to hit with, and on the way to the tennis club, Route 34 tennis, there was a high school and the kids were running, but they were practicing with a baton. We're going to do relays. We're going to do 400-yard relays. Everybody will run 100, and we'll pass it off. So hand-eye coordination with the baton, working as a team, number 2, and then getting some fitness. Keep some times. We'll do it before, maybe not before every practice, but we'll keep times throughout the season.
Okay.
And the one thing that you mentioned when we were walking over here this morning is we'll make ourselves available on the off season. Right?
Oh, certainly.
I mean, and we can make ourselves available as coaches to coach them in some of the fitness activities. But like you said, we'll make ourselves available at Novi Athletic Club to not give lessons to the team, but to just seek improvement by doing the drills that we do and playing matches. So I think if we can use the foundation or the platform of what Jen and Tamara have given us and get that out to the 32 student athletes that we have, I think that would be a great thing.
And then, well, that's good, but I also want to mention if if a player wants specific improvement, they should definitely get lessons.
Robbie or Coach Jake.
Robbie or Coach Jake, but so what we're going to be working on is the overall game, fitness and match play. But to improve specifically, like I need to fix my forehand. You need to go see a pro,
Yeah.
and fix that.
And I think as part of the evaluation, and I know it's hard, kind of hurting cats to get the MVP votes, but it would be great to know from their perspective, reflecting on their own season as individuals, what do they want to come to the court with next August and improve? What's their area of focus? And I would love the parents to be able to feed that back to us so that when they do come to and hopefully we'll have some great turnouts this fall, and when they do come to Novi Athletic Club to play some matches, we can watch those things and then feed it into Robbie and Jake that they want to work on forehand or serve or backhand or volley. Give that to Jake and Robbie for them to improve, and then we watch that improvement in the drills that we do.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
A lot.
What else?
So a couple things that we talked about that I want to make sure that we talked about the off-season training, which is very important. But I also want to touch on, the lessons that have been learned this season on the tennis court and how it applies to tennis, but also applies to life. I think as coaches, we have an opportunity in a window that is usually very small, right? We get them as freshmen, like with Jack and Brody, and maybe we don't see them again next year because they move on to a different level, and God bless them, and I hope that's the case. But at the same time, I think we can be really aware of the lessons that we can be teaching them other than just forehand and backhands and serve. And I think it has to do with attitude, accountability, effort, responsibility to each other, to yourselves, and to your teammates. And I think those are the types of things that, as I reflect on the season, you can see when that attitude shifts. You can see it when it shifts in the positive way, and it almost becomes an unbeatable duo on the tennis court. But you can also see it when the attitude dips.
Yep.
And it's almost like and I said this before and I'm going to say it again, I don't want to be too repetitive, but there's almost a veil that comes over the team when one or two of them aren't feeling like they're contributing at the highest level, when ultimately it should be the opposite. You should see, and it's very hard for me to do personally, you should see very little change in your attitude from the seriousness that you start with until it's over. You have to stay very focused, again, focus, patience, and discipline, right? I think those are the lessons that we'll continue to teach.
And every year I can tell tryout week who has that, who's willing to put in the work, who has the right attitude, and then the season kind of reaffirms it. Okay, so everybody that comes in is not a gifted tennis player,
No.
right? But you can work on your game. You can get higher than you ever thought
For sure.
if you really put an effort in and apply yourself. Look, I got cut in high school,
Oh, sure.
and then I could either quit, or I could, I came to a fork in the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I made my basketball team. I got cut from basketball, but I wanted it. It also, if I didn't want it, that's fine too. I would have found something else.
Of course.
But if you really have a desire to go places, do things on anything, you got to work at it.
Mhm.
You got to work at it,
No doubt.
and you have to put in an honest effort. You know, just we have voluntary practices. Just showing up and just hitting balls is not. You have to focus on what you want to improve on.
For sure.
You know.
And those are the kind of lessons we want to keep on teaching, because that applies to their lives too, right? Whether it's relationships or whether it's business, you constantly have to be working on it. You can't just love it and leave it, right? We can't love tennis from August till November and leave it and then come back in August and expect to be that much better. You're actually going to regress
Yeah.
if you don't continue to play and fine tune your skill, like it is with life. And accountability to yourself is the number one thing that we're going to continue to preach to our student athletes, because when you look in the mirror, that's really who you have to be answering to, right? I mean, that's a very big deal.
Yeah.
So I think that's super important. And continue with that red thread of, goodness, discipline, and knowledge is so important, that we continue to weave the foundation of our culture here at Detroit Catholic Central into everything that we do. And one of the things I was thinking about the JV team. Interesting when you have some time to think, right? So in New Jersey, in Courtney and Lewis's quiet house, I'm thinking, well, if Detroit Catholic Central JV A and B tennis was a brand, what would you be doing for that brand? And one of the most important things to do is to have a mission and vision statement. And I'll give you a little example, Vijay. When I joined my new company, Troll Clothing and Well Donation, we flew to Alberta in the middle of nowhere, and we knew as again, blessed to be CEO, one of my tasks on that 5-day trip was to get everybody together and put together a mission and vision statement. That's what we wanted to do. In my old company,
That's like putting up a target, right?
yeah, that's your North Star.
Yeah.
That's why you exist. That's why you exist. And in my old company, that would be a series of 15 meetings with Deloitte coming in, paying them $1,200,000 to come out with this glorious mission statement that took 4 months to evolve to. And clearly, we couldn't afford it as a startup company. So instead of Deloitte Consulting, we had everybody around the table. And I asked Wendy, one of the gals, if she wouldn't mind. I think we need a little bit of energy in the room. So Tim Horton makes these Timbits, which are these like donut holes or something, like little donuts.
You don't need to explain it to me.
Oh, okay.
I
So she brings in these Timbits, and all of a sudden, over Timbits and a Tim Horton egg sandwich, we put our mission and vision statement together within 34 minutes, which was we are unapologetic in our support.
So when was this?
This was June of 2022. Troll Clothing and Well Donation exists because we are unapologetic in our support for blue-collar workers around the world, from sun up till tools down. 34 minutes. Timbits, egg sandwich, no Deloitte, no $1 million. And the same thing applies to us.
And then that's still your mission statement, right?
It's everywhere for our million social media followers. That's why we exist. We exist to be unapologetic about our support of blue-collar workers from sun up till tools down. That's what we do. Right. Simple. So when I thought about...
So what did you come up with?
So when I thought about JV, Detroit Catholic Central, JV A and B as a brand, one of the things I thought, and this is just first pass, and I sent it to Jen and Tamara and to you, and this can evolve. I said the evolution of CC, Catholic Central JV Tennis culture, and our own vision and mission statement should maybe read something like this. At Detroit Catholic Central, JV tennis program. We exist to combine the tools of competition, sportsmanship, and faith in an effort to give all glory to God. So fairly succinct, because it can't be too wordy, and it's got to be all of those things that goodness, discipline, and goodness, discipline, and knowledge kind of as the halo, and then underneath that halo as a subset of that, we always want to give glory to God. We want to make sure that we're giving our student athletes the tools that they need to be competitive, but also to be great sportsmen, and also having ethics and faith driving all that we do. So something for us to think about, and if there's some comments from our listeners, we can evolve that as we go forward. But I think we should have that, and the vision is to, again, because you and I dream big, we need windscreens that talk about Catholic Central tennis and goodness, discipline, and knowledge. And then we put our mission statement up on those windscreens so that everybody that comes to see us knows that's why we exist.
I like the part about glory to God.
Oh, yeah. And we need that. I mean, look, without him,
I mean, that's what this whole place stands for.
it's our lives, right?
Yeah.
And as I was talking to Heather here this morning about spending time with Courtney in New Jersey, and God put me there because she needed a little bit of help when I was there. And that was, I had no control over that. I was planning to go there anyway, but God was certainly driving that parental bus for me to make sure that I was with my sweet girl while in New Jersey, and I was there with her. So,
And she's not a little girl. How old is she?
30. She'll be 37 on December 7th. So yeah,
Pearl Harbor Day.
yeah, day of infamy.
Yeah. David.
Right to my heart. That's for sure. No, all good. So lots of good things going on here at Detroit Catholic Central as the season winds down with this amazing tournament that.
Hopefully next podcast I can tell you who our champions are,
Yeah, that'd be great.
and we'll
Yeah, we'll recap episode 6 with updates on the tournament. We'll also talk a little bit about if we get some feedback on a mission and vision statement, and we'll have plenty of other things to talk about too, my friend.
all right.
Sound
well,
okay?
Let's go play some tennis.
All right, let's go play some tennis. Thanks, Vijay.